My name's Tim, and I was one of the 2 primary boat carriers on Canoe4Covid.
My name's Kalen, and I carried the barrel, as well as working on filming and our media promotion.
My name's Will Vise. I was the trip navigator and double pack carrier.
Hi, I'm Jacob, and I was the pack carrier and fisherman on the trip.
My name's George, and I was the trip chef, and I also carried the Wanigan.
My name is Nolan Azes, and I was one of the boat carriers and also the fire maker.
Our second seg started in the town of Nipigon along the North Shore of Superior, an hour and a half north of Thunder Bay and a few days north of Toronto and Minneapolis. Nipigon is a very small town with under 2,000 permanent residents. From Nipigon, we traveled across the entire North Shore of Superior through the town of Wawa, up the Michipicoten River to the town of Missinabi, and eventually Chapleau, our longest and likely most dangerous seg, and it all began here at the Nipigon boat launch.
Baby, I can see something's wrong deep inside.
I can speak for the group when I say Superior was the most feared section of our trip. Superior being the largest freshwater lake in the world and having a long history of boating deaths naturally created anxiety amongst the team.
This is our first day on Lake Superior. We just left Nipigon. We haven't gone too far. We're just having breakfast out at this point here. You might be able to see those immense cliffs over there. That's the town of Red Rock just down there. Today we have a bit of a headwind, sidewind kind of. The wind's coming from the southeast and we're trying to head east. It's not that bad right now. As you can see, there's a few waves. Not terrible though. We're still kind of sheltered. We're in Nipigon Bay of Lake Superior. Yeah, the wind should remain fairly constant throughout the day. I mean, it's not ideal for paddling, but it could be worse. I'm glad it's not picking up really. It doesn't seem too dangerous. If it does seem dangerous, we'll pull over, of course, and find another way to move on, you know? There may be a thunderstorm here in Nipigon tonight, but there won't be a thunderstorm in Rossport, where we're trying to go today. So we shouldn't have to worry about getting electrocuted, which is pretty cool if you ask me.
Whoa. You want the smoke?
I want to get a video of it, bro.
Can't get a pendant like this.
Boy, we're out here in the wild. Discovered a nice Superior shark. Drifted out on shore. As you can see, it's got big gawk contorters in there.
You actually touched the teeth. They're so prickly.
Look at the teeth on this too. Like, that's my hand in comparison.
This guy's definitely a deadly predator on Superior.
Well, clearly not. Clearly there's something bigger in this lake than him.
When we were done exploring the beaches near our break spot, we made our way to some islands in the middle of Nipigon Bay. At this point, we were ready to cross back to the mainland, over a gap of about 6 kilometers. At the time, we estimated it to be only 2 kilometers, but soon we would realize just how big that gap really was.
Just made it to the docking spot on the end of Vert Island.
Trying to do this crossing, but the waves are looking a bit hectic.
Beautiful spot to wait though.
Every single rock you pick up is like perfect for skipping. I think I see the boys in the distance coming around the bend.
So we arrived at the last point before the crossing, and with the wind the way it was, we were left with little choice but to wait it out. We didn't want to risk ending up in a potentially dangerous situation, so we decided to play it safe and stop for lunch.
We pulled over here at the side of Vert Island on Lake Superior, just out of Nipigon Bay. You can see the weather is starting to pick up. The reason we're here is because we're wave bound. Waves are a little bit too heavy to paddle right now, and there's about to be a thunderstorm approaching us from the north. So it's a struggle, but we got a tent set up right here. Boys, tell us about the rig. Tell us about the rig.
Solid tarp rig.
It's gonna be good, eh?
It keeps the rain off, keeps things dry. We want things to be dry because when they're wet, it's awful.
Yo, you heard it here.
So basically, the wind is subsiding now, and it's going to be at its lowest between 8 and 9 for a little bit. Currently, it's just about 7:15. So what we're planning on doing is since the wind will pick up again after 9, and it's going to get very strong, far stronger than it is now at 11 and 12 tonight. We don't want to be in the water for that period, especially since there's nearby lightning. We're gonna wait about another half hour for the wind to subside a bit more. Then we're gonna paddle straight to the mainland, and we're gonna find a place to camp on the mainland near the train tracks or something. We're gonna get about 4 or 5 hours sleep, and then we're gonna wake up at 1 a.m. And at 1 a.m. until 10 a.m. at least tomorrow, the wind's gonna be down much lower. We're gonna use that 10-hour period, and we're just gonna try and haul and make up for all our lost ground. It's gonna be tricky, but we gotta do it, you know?
We're about to make the crossing now. The winds are still pretty heavy, as you can see, so we don't know how this is gonna go, but we can just hope for the best.
We had hardly even paddled yet when we realized the swells would be too dangerous to paddle all 6 kilometers back to shore. We turned back, regrouped, and quickly formed a new plan to camp on the end of Vert Island.
So we've decided to not make the crossing, and now we're looking for a campsite along this island here. The swells are really big, especially once you start heading out more into open water. Right here they're not too bad, but you know, you really got to be careful in winds like these, so it is what it is.
Today, Lake Superior really showed us who was superior, with a display of cold rain, fast wind, and large waves. That night, we shared our concerns and questioned our abilities to complete the lake in time, and I think we all went to bed that night praying good weather would come our way.
So we're at Vert Island right now, pulled aside, and there's a storm about to hit us, and Will Vise can tell you more about our day.
We started pretty late. We paddled out onto the lake, encountered a little bit more wind than we thought, but we managed to do a good 25 or 30 kilometers or so. And we attempted to paddle across the channel from the mainland. Then we decided against it because the waves were still much too large, even though the wind relaxed a bit. So we paddled around the side of the island, and we came to this bay here. We're gonna call it Grubba Cove. Yeah, now we're camped here. There's a huge thunderstorm just on the other side, and there's a lot of lightning. You can't really see it from here, but around the other side there's lots of it.
So it's about 3:45 in the morning. We're here on this beach on Lake Superior, getting our headlamps out, loading the boats, and getting ready for a little bit of night tripping. It's gonna be spooky. We have a bit of moonlight on our side. It's like almost full, but it's definitely still dark out here, and it's gonna be hard navigating.
Leaving our site that morning, we knew that because of the delays yesterday, we were over 50 kilometers behind schedule. We were meant to get to Rossport the previous day, and now we would have to push all the way to Terrace Bay to make up for the lost ground. And thus, we set off to make the daunting 6-kilometer gap, with only the light of the 3 a.m. moon to guide us.
The light is so bright on my eye.
We're near the shore, near the actual shore. We can hear the highway. And we're getting some amenities going.
Show me a sign. I'm listening, darling, but I don't hear a sound.
After paddling for a while, we ran into a retired police inspector turned outdoors writer by the name of Scott. He helped us out by getting us a nice warm breakfast and later publishing an article about us online.
Wow. So quick shout out to Scott, who we saw at his cottage. Came by and got the boys some sandwiches. Oh, Scott. Oh, it's an aching. What a beauty!
After meeting Scott, not much else would happen until we hit Rossport that day. Until then, it was just us, the waves, and the beautiful landscape of North Superior.
So the dark still mad, you'll toss and you'll turn and you'll fight. I can't think fully, you'll have to decide. So trust you will know
around right there and go around the island, but there's white caps already forming out there.
We'll go to there, and there's hopefully is less wind over there. Yeah, we'll go to the point and then across.
Man, we're so behind. Like,
We'll try and get a ride. We're gonna do this better. Like, we'll go to bed earlier, wake up earlier.
We got to Rossport today around 2:30. We found a guy named Dave and his wife who was nice enough to offer us a ride for a small sum of money. We got the boats rigged up here, and I'm gonna be chilling in here for the hour ride to Rossport.
Got a pretty crazy rig going on here for the shuttle to Marathon. Pretty absurd. Tim's just chilling in the back here.
I gotta hold on to this so she doesn't come off on the highway.
Can't be having the canoes slip off.
We just started driving. It's a bit scary back here. Hopefully the canoe doesn't fly off the back, and hopefully we make it to Rossport safe.
So we're here in Marathon. The boys are once again wind f***ed.
Dude, my therm has a hole in it.
Really?
Right there. Can I fix that?
Yeah, I'll try to fix it.
After our Vert Island ordeal, we found ourselves stranded in the small town of Marathon, Ontario. With a number of storms in the area, paddling out was not an option. Thus, we were left trying to find a ride to Wawa, so we could stay on schedule and continue our journey on the smaller inland lakes. We enlisted the help of our new friend in Marathon named Al Creswell of the local radio station. He put out an announcement on air to help us try and find someone to drive us. However, it still took days for us to find a ride.
Alright, let's check out some plants. We are looking around and checking out some plants that we were able to sort of identify earlier. So, for example, these I believe to be oxwood daisies. So you can eat these leaves, these small little leaves. You can eat the whole flower. This guy here, this is yarrow. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce it. I just know what it is. You can boil up the roots, I believe, and it's sort of a cold remedy. It's got these cool flowers here at the top, and it can get a lot bigger. You can get like full pods of flowers, like yay big, and it's really easily distinguishable because of these leaves here.
We could be at A&W right now. Marathon has a nice A&W, but instead the boys are out here trying to make a salad.
Wholesome foods.
Wholesome foods.
No
Dude, we
food.
should make that. Wholesome foods?
Our third morning in Marathon, we were lucky enough to get a ride from a local mining company called Manrock. They heard Al's radio announcement and offered to drive us as well as sign up to be a new sponsor for our trip. The drivers Snake and Bryson provided some much needed companionship and good banter for the hour-long ride to Wawa.
Craig, thank you so much, man.
Come on, man. Hey, what's up?
The weather was cold and gray when we started up the Michipicoten River. We paddled for quite some time, and when the current was too strong, we would drag our canoes across the long sandy beaches of the river. When we first started, the river was rather calm, and the going was not too tough. However, as we progressed up the river, the current became stronger and stronger, and it became harder and harder to move forwards. Michipicoten River was exactly the same as how I remembered it in 2018. The extremely fast pace of the water forced paddling to be ineffective and exhausting. However, at the same time, dragging the boats was bone-chilling and very, very slow. We were making pace up the river, and I couldn't help stop but reminisce about Cole and Scully and the rest of my 50-day cabin, and the terrors of Missinabi that were waiting for us ahead.
So this is pretty exciting. This was my first campsite on the 50-day. We're just at partway through the Michipicoten River. We're pretty much doing my exact 50-day. It's kind of surreal to be back here. I remember Scully saying, like, boys, you're never going to be back here again, and look where we are.
Will and I were finally back at our first campsite we stayed at on our 50-day. After a rough 15 days, we were in somewhat familiar territory, and that night I think we all felt a sense of accomplishment. It had been a long day, and the river had taken a lot out of us. We ate dinner by the beautiful sunset, and then shortly after, we went to bed.
So the barrel's strap is broke in an aggressive way. What was right here to be attached is ripped off. So yeah, we're gonna figure something out and re-rig it. It's already been broken up here. That's why that duct tape is there. I think we might need a new barrel strap. Ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Ah, the beauty.
Everything's taken though?
Everything.
Thank you, boys.
The fun thing about these portages too is if you slip and fall, you know it's gonna hurt. Let's push, boys.
We're wrapped it up for a water break before our 4K. Trying to see right now if we can send it.
One little cloud,
Just yak in the water.
I don't think your dad would.
I'm not gonna yak.
After a bit of water, Jacob felt well enough to push on, so we decided to crush the last few kilometers before our portage. However, before we got there, we ran into some unexpected company. As we paddled up the river, we saw a man and his dog on a dock by the shore. The man's name was Keith, and he was a permanent resident of that part of the Michipicoten River. We hadn't the time to talk for long, but Keith was a great guy, and we spoke briefly of our travels. Before we left, he also gifted us a fishing rod to replace the one we'd broken.
Oh, great place. So you guys live here? You guys live here full year round, or?
No, well, Keith does. I live in Wawa.
Okay.
I never used it. It's going to be good for it.
Thank you so much, man.
Is it good fishing?
Thank you, Keith.
Awesome to meet you. You're welcome.
Thanks.
You guys, hope you guys have a fun time.
Yeah. And thanks for the rod. Where's the rod back there?
Oh yeah.
Wicked.
Your fishing rod,
Got some nice
couple
lures.
lures.
Stay updated on our website too.
I will.
Yeah, we've got like a map on the website, and it shows like where our route is, like where we've been staying so far.
Oh yeah?
Paddle again, yeah?
That was so cold. What the hell? Oh yeah, she's chilly.
After leaving Keith's place and dragging for a bit, it didn't take us long at all to get to the start of the 6-kilometer portage to Whitefish Lake.
Hey, we're trying to make it to Whitefish Lake. Do you mind if we just pass through your property and get on the road there? Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
That place right there, I got heat stroke 2 years. Top of that hill. Hill killed me, man. Yeah, I was really expecting to see the lake again.
Made it to Whitefish Lake. We're just doubling back on the portage right now. I'm so tired after that portage. There was barely any shade, so it was mainly just running on a cart trail and the highway in the complete sun with the canoe on my back. The flies are actually pretty good, not too bad, but still got to double back right now, help out Will and Jacob and make sure that the boys with the double packs are all good. Also, I want to double back for Jacob just because he was like pretty sick earlier, puking in the boat while paddling, so just want to make sure the team's all good.
I'm not gonna, it just burns like this. Good stuff. Ozzy, let's see it. Yeah! 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 Push that pace. Let's go, boys. Don't worry, I'll go.
At the end of the brutal 6-kilometer portage, we ate an unexpected cold lunch and then quickly finished off the last few kilometers between us and our campsite. We couldn't find a proper campsite, so we ended up having to crash where we found the clearest patch of trees. We spent a lot of work clearing out our site, and then after unloading the boats, setting up our tent, and repairing a bunch of gear, we settled in for the night. Our venture into the Missinabi area had just begun, and the change of environment was nice because we didn't have to paddle all day getting caught in big waves. At the site, Jacob was still sick and throwing up. However, he never stopped that day. He did what a real tripper does and kept hauling.
Bit of a late start this morning. The boys made up some coffee and some oatmeal. First hot breakfast of the trip, which was pretty nice, and still quite chilly. The winds are blowing. We're getting the boats packed up, and we got a decent day today. I believe it's most of our day is gonna be paddling this here lake, Whitefish, and then there's a nice 2-kilometer bushwhack to the next lake, and then a proper portage onto Dog Lake, where we will be staying tonight. But boys are gonna be tired. It's gonna be a tough one, man. It's gonna be a tough one. I'm excited for a proper schwack though. We haven't had like a nice proper schwack yet this trip, a good like 2K, so see y'all on the other side.
Pretty much just got on the water and then started paddling, but there was a pretty brutal headwind throughout the whole day.
Big long lake. Gray overcast day.
Just before breakfast, we paddled by this sunken dam, and it used to be a dam that the Michipicoten would have ran through, connecting this lake to Whitefish Lake. But they blew up the top part of the dam, and now it's sunken, which makes Whitefish just this one massive lake here.
And then we had breakfast on the little campsite, a couple clicks down that way.
After breakfast, we just kept paddling more in this headwind. It turned into like a head side wind. The boys aren't really pressed about time right now, so we just took a nice little break early on for lunch, and it ended up being a loft, and we just decided to sleep there for the night and make that the campsite. The boys were all pretty hungry. We hooked up a nice fat lunch and some shepherd's pie for dinner. I went fishing, didn't catch anything. And yeah, it's been a low-key day, but a good one for sure.
Definitely, like, in the next coming days, I thought it was good to get some rest today. I know getting to Chapleau, it can be pretty rough from Missinabi. I don't really know 100% if the little Missinabi route we have right now, if that's 100% reliable. So we might have to just portage along the railway like me and Will did on our 50-day. But yeah, I thought the rest was good today. I think we can make it to the town of Missinabi tomorrow. Hopefully we can hit up Ken and Ernie's bait shop and get some pretty banter hats, you know? But yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and peace out, guys.
This is the base of a set of rapids. I think it's like Stony Portage Rapids or something. I remember when I came here in 2018 on my 50-day, there was no portage here, so we went over to the right side where those boys are. And we cut out a trail, flagged it. Those boys are checking to, refine the trail we made 2 years ago. Nolan, Kalen, and I are over on this side just checking out, because it looks like there may be some sort of trail here that maybe we missed back in 2018. We're just checking to be sure. May not be a trail here. It's a nice set of rapids, but anyway. Funny story is, now this is just a great example of how weird this whole Missinabi area is. From Manitowik Lake, which is over there, up to a little pond at the other end of this rapids. We found no portage last time, it's just a brutal schwack. And then you get to the pond up there, and the other side of the little pond has a super nice short portage, like 400-meter beautiful portage with a tent platform on it that goes to Dog Lake. So I just find it so odd how connecting these two big lakes and the little pond in the middle, you have a great portage on one side from one big lake, Dog Lake, to the pond, and then from the pond to this lake, Manitowik, you got this set of rapids. I just find it so odd how there's no portage on this side. It's just mind-bogglingly strange. You'd think they just cut it all the way through, going all the way from Dog to Manitowik, instead of just stopping in a pond halfway through.
Being unable to find a portage trail on the left side of the rapids, we proceeded around to the bushwhack on the right side of the rapids that Will and I cleared on our 50-day 2 years prior.
This pack's like cutting off circulation in my arm.
See, go through the middle there, and you have to break down the little trees a bit.
Very soft. And then please just put that down.
After our morning series of bushwhacks and portages, we reached the Dog Lake Dam that Will and I saw on our 50-day. Shortly after, we reached the town of Missinabi, and thus we were left to decide whether to portage 30 kilometers along the train tracks and avoid our experimental section along the Little Missinabi, or whether to brave the dangers of the river and go into potentially uncharted territory. For context, Will and I had taken a similar route to try and get from Missinabi Lake to Bullcow Lake on our 50-day 2 years prior. However, we were unsuccessful, resulting in a long paddle back to the start of the 30-kilometer portage to the nearest accessible lake.
The river could screw us, but I don't think so. Like, I don't know, man.
For me, it's just like I trust Will 100%. Like, of course, like I trust him with everything. Navigation's just, what if it's broken trees all the way down, and then we're swimming and trying to get around, and it takes like the whole day, and we do 10K. And I think Kaylin brought up a good point. Like, this isn't an Almic 50 day where you can explore. This is like, if we up, like we up. Like,
Yeah. You know, like we talked to everyone about doing like the safest possible. We did that on Superior. And I hate to just counteract it by like f***ing up on a river in the middle of Missinabi where it's hard to even get access and stuff.
I want to know what's after that river. Like once we get to Little Missinabi Lake, like is there any chance that we could get screwed between there and Chapleau, you know? Like, can we check the topo lines on this river and compare them?
I did check them.
To the
They're not as bad as the Michipicoten. It's actually quite flat in most of the areas except for the areas with rapids. The areas with rapids do have large elevation changes, but I assume those changes are due to waterfalls, which probably are happening at where the rapids are marked. However, it's also within a provincial park. There's campsites and there's most likely portages. People go to Little Missinabi Lake. It's in a provincial park. There are campsites there. The river won't most likely not be blocked by trees. It's wide enough that I can see it. Like, it's a full blue section. It's not just a blue line. Additionally, we're so many days ahead that, say it does take us 2 days to get up the river, that's fine. We have the type of latency days to do that. I made this route for the sake of doing what's never been done before and connecting areas which have never been connected to. That's what Doug Scully did with his 50 day. He went where everyone thought that he couldn't go. It's slow, I'll give you that. It's certainly slow and it'll certainly take a little while, but we have 2.5 latency days here to work with.
Yeah, I thought like the whole point of us being back in this area and like kind of retracing your route is, we were gonna take the same route, take the like impossible route. We already have like the knowledge about the Michipicoten, we have the knowledge about that, but let's throw this in so we can actually like do something and make this route like make it so then like trips can actually do more interesting stuff, because the average trip can't do a 30K.
I want to complete what Cole and Scully started pretty much.
The legacy.
Well, if you want to do that, then I say we do it.
Yeah. All right.
We had a pretty relaxed day today. Tried to find people to see if they could tell us anything about Little Missinabi River, I think it's called.
And tried to get Wi-Fi just to see if kind of our route is doable the way it's planned, or if we should just go to the train tracks right down there and do a 30-kilometer portage straight to Chapleau. I don't know, I'm kind of worried. I don't really want to do the river just because what if it's impassable and just gets too dangerous to the point where we have to turn back and then do the 30-kilometer portage. There's a plan right there that we know that's going to work. So.
I still feel like those bugs are flying all over me. Ooh. This is beautiful.
A.m. day 18 a trip. Day 18, right? 19. Day 19 a trip. We left Dog Lake. We woke up early at 4:30 a.m. Got up campsite at 5:07 a.m. And we've gone 22 kilometers already. We're having breakfast now on Crooked Lake. Behold, Crooked Lake.
Many roads I've walked down, not sure what I'm looking for. Cool heat of the sunshine, warm stare of the moon. Oh baby, take a walk with me, I'm going home soon. And there's something I ain't saying, wouldn't wanna scare you off too soon. I'm trying to find my way down this long and winding road.
Abandoned water tower on Crooked Lake. Your road to Renabi. I don't know if Renabi's inhabited anymore. This tower here clearly is not in use.
Pretty cool. I like how there's trees growing in it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool, right?
There's a reason for everything. Nothing happens by.
We were about 10 to 15 kilometers away from our site when we decided to stop for lunch. At this point, we had decided to fully commit to the Little Missinabi River, and thus we had chose a site directly at the bottom of the river. We paddled the final distance between us and our site through a tough headwind, and ended the day next to a beautiful waterfall. We were anxious about what awaited us further up the river, and then what lay between there and Chapleau. The rest of the seg between here and Chapleau would be wildly unpredictable, and later, going from Chapleau to the top of the Spanish River would be the most exploratory route we would undertake to date. There was clearly a bit of nervous energy, but by this point in the trip, we had found our groove and felt very solid and efficient when moving through the country. Despite the harsh, rough, and rugged terrain, we knew we would rise to the challenge.
Billion out there like you makes me wanna cry. I wander in the darkness, feeling around like blind man. Can't find the light switch, but it only matters when. The dark side of the moon, shining back like a mirror. Shadows in the sun, bright lights in the night. What does it mean? Nobody knows. Guess we just keep floating around like a bunch of lost souls.